Hi, Ian. Well, it is a brand new business today show. I'm in the loft studio, and how are you, Gerard? He's downstairs for social distancing.
Hi Michael, thank you for having me in the nice studio today.
Well, today it's all about dealing with the crisis of coronavirus. We've got some great stuff going on. We've got how to run your business in coronavirus crisis, mentoring. You've got your question of the week, Gerard.
Yes, and again, if you listen to the different guests, their answers, there's always a familiar theme that goes through all of them when they answer.
Yeah. And we're not ending the show with golf today. We had Helia Singh in, and she did an absolutely beautiful poem that I think is a really good, and I think it's just appropriate for this time that we're going through. So stay tuned. We got a big show coming up. Well, here we go, and we are back for a brand new show of business today, and it's all about helping in crisis. Now, one of the things we do in Worthington Stoop, where myself and Gerard work, is help people get their business from a job to an investment. In other words, create real wealth in their business, and we do it through advisory boards, don't we, Gerard?
Yes, and the one thing I did realize through this COVID crisis is that when people said, I don't know how to do it, I'm too busy to do it, now that they have some time up and to reflect on their business, now actually they have the idea to say, well, maybe I need to investigate how to make my job an investment. And people use the initiative. It's amazing the initiative that comes out at the moment.
So if you're interested in how to, a lot of people say, well, I'm not ready for an advisory board, whatever, but what we're doing on Worthington Stoop is setting up an advisory board mentoring group. So you as a business owner can actually step into that space, learn from other business owners and ourselves, and see whether it's going to be the right fit for you. And even going through the process does elevate you. I find it does really drag you up, doesn't it, Gerard, and pulls you up to that next level.
Definitely, and some people they never even thought about that idea. And just by looking at the link that we will put down at the bottom, it might just say, you know what, this is the right thing for me to do to step and change my business for the future.
Absolutely. I'm listening to Gerard and Chris in the other studio, so it's a little bit challenging. Talking about challenging, our very first guest, Helia Singh, is talking about how you get through how to see your future, in a crisis. I'm going to press the button now, Gerard, and we'll cross to Helia. You ready for this?
Yes, exactly. That's what we talk about, that it is not just about money. We all know very well that doesn't matter how much money you have, you can still vulnerable, that when it comes to a virus. So no matter, it is, and that's why it's not about money, it's about how much you are rich inside, how much you are ready to take on life and, find a better way to add to humanity, whether use some of your money, which obviously that will be great, because when we don't have money, whatever goodness we can do and add to humanity, it's only limited to us. That's it. But when we have money, that speaks volume. Then we can multiply our effects. So that's the only difference that I can see there.
Great advice there from Helia. Welcome back. How are you, Gerard? Is it all working down at your end of the studio?
Very difficult not to look at you and have you in a different...
Yeah, I know. I keep trying to turn my head thinking you're there and you're not. There's nobody there. Look, a lot of people, when they get stuck, Gerard, they're saying, where can I get advice? I don't have a lot of money now. I'm really looking at this. And we talk about advisory boards. And one of the things, and you point out to a lot of people, apart from you can join Worthington Stoop, and the link is underneath, and actually do an advisory board mentoring group, is you can put an advisory board together without costing you money, Gerard.
Exactly. I had an interesting phone call last night from a family member, and their business is in a situation now where with the COVID-19, they don't know how they're going to pay. So they actually phoned the family member I spoke to and asked, what do you think we should do with the staff? And I just thought, again, with the board, if you have that in place, your staff knows what the business needs because they work on ground level. And it's such a good idea now because they also got ideas, your staff, how to get through this crisis. So I just think advisory board in your business is such a good idea to implement now.
Yeah, and if you are at that business stage and you haven't got staff, we're going to show you in our mentoring group how to select the right people to put an advisory board in, so it's as if you do have staff. It'll actually pull you up to that next level and will, instead of being short of money now, it'll start making you money. One of the guests that comes in regularly is Andrew Ford. Now, Andrew this week is about dealing with the coronavirus crisis in your business. That's why we think advisory boards and that do step you through. And you were listening in on this interview because we were on opposite sides of the camera. And I think, Gerard, Andrew gives us some great advice this week.
Every week when I listen to Andrew, there's something that I take away and some things I forgot about and say I need to implement it. And sometimes there's totally something new that I didn't even thought about. Really good to listen to Andrew.
Okay, I'll press the button, Gerard. Are you ready? Well, Andrew from Ford and Doonan, you've been in Perth, Western Australia for 35 years. Big celebrations and everything. Congratulations on that. Coronavirus comes along. What's your attitude?
We've cancelled our 35th anniversary party, I know that much. So that's going to be deferred. We even thought of a virtual party, but that's another story. We invite guests in, them a little bottle of wine and like a webinar type thing. But all seriousness, so a lot's changed, hasn't it, Michael? So yeah, it's just battling through the best you can with all the things coming at you.
Do you think having that 35 years behind you now, you guys, I don't know, have you got the attitude that, well, this is just a 6-month blip in the road for the next 35 years? So in perspective, it's kind of, let's just do our best to get through it?
That's how we're taking, how we're looking at it, yes, Michael. And I think, again, because we've been around so long and we've been prudent with building our balance sheet, we're not particularly worried whether we're going to survive or not. That's fait accompli, we will. So it's a matter of how we're going to come out of it. And I think we will all look back and just say, wow, what a year that was. Like maybe the Great Depression back then, like they look back then, and who knows how it's going to finish up. But we're certainly looking well past that. We're not just worrying about the next month or the next 3 months. It's going to be some pain.
I was going to say, are you and Kyle with Ford and Doonan actively planning the future and still planning your future growth, or is that kind of taking a back burner? I mean, what is your take on it?
It's hard to plan growth right now. When all we're looking at is retraction due to external forces, so it's very hard to plan it. But we know it will end, and yeah, we sort of plan the next bit of growth. We never stop planning for growth. It's just whether it gets stalled for a year or 6 months, and then before it goes off again. So always look ahead. You've got to keep looking ahead 1 year, 2 years, 5 years.
So when you're looking ahead 1, 2 and 5 years, we hear a lot of times people should design their plan and work their plan. Obviously hiccups arrive. Does that cause you and Carl then to go and revise your plans, or you just say, we're just, what's the PM said, they're in hibernation?
That's a
I
good
don't know
word.
what that means.
Yeah. It's probably not a bad word, actually. It is really just hibernate them and just stall them for 6 months. Hopefully it's only 6 months, and we're back out and then planning it. Again, there's opportunity, isn't there? Because I believe in our industry of air conditioning, not all the competitors that exist today will be there in 6 months' time. I think the ones that are highly geared, debt-ridden, not a good solid business, won't necessarily come out of this, which is sad, but there's opportunity where there's negativity.
Exactly. I suppose a lot of business owners who've got staff like yourself are getting a little bit stressed about their staff. Maybe the staff are getting stressed. What's Ford and Doonan and yourself and Carl doing now to help build that staff confidence that you're in it here and you will come through the other side?
Yeah, I think it's just more communication, which is of course a bit harder now they're not in the office. Like a memo I just issued today was talking about why and what we're doing and why we're doing it. Because there's some, we put people on some reduced hours, and some of those people have kicked up, I shouldn't get that. Well, what's the alternative for your workmate to be terminated and suspended or made redundant? We're trying to keep everybody employed here, so all of us have to take a little bit of a hit with it, and a little bit of pay reduction is better than a whole lot, is our theory. And we keep our team as one. We're not having to recruit all new people at the end of it, and they've got more reassurance that they've got a job, albeit not paying quite as well as what it used to.
Now, we've talked in the past how you've managed to transition to home. How have the staff taken working from home and not having that regularity or consistency of coming to an office?
Interestingly, looking at the different staff, you can see the ones that have family who it doesn't really make much difference, but the staff that maybe live alone, you can see that they are suffering a little bit when they do come in. They're like hungry for that people connection. And I think that's out there widespread in the community, not just in the workplace. But it's very interesting. You've got to sort of be conscious of that. I don't know if you could so much manage it, but be conscious if they want to spend an extra 5 minutes chatting to you, devote that time to them, because they're needing that in their world.
There we go, Andrew Ford talking about how to deal with this coronavirus crisis in your business. Really great stuff. One of the things I find as we get the guests in is the amount of knowledge and information. And Gerard, you love asking them your 60-second question.
I love this segment. When you ask them the question and they only got 60 seconds and they don't think about it, the true answer comes from their heart. And this week's question is, what is one of your values? And what I loved about it, no one had to think about what one of their values was. It just came out.
My value of honesty is one where I know when I have a conversation with somebody, I can trust them, I can share with them, I can confide in them, and they become a true friend if they aren't already.
One of my values is being true to myself. Through my life, I have made some decision, or actually didn't make some decision that I've regretted it a lot. But for me now, to being true to myself, and no matter what is going to be the answer, is now the values and that I'll live by. So that's why I want to take every chance in life now.
My values: do the right thing, and do the right thing all the time, regardless of who's around. Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, and if you do the right thing, you'll always be right.
Look, one of my values is to not treat my clients as a job. I think they deserve better, and always proactively look after their best interest. You know, I don't want to really advise after the bullet has been fired, but one of my values is to build up relationship with the clients and help them aim right in the first place from the start.
I absolutely love those questions that Gerard asked. How are you going down there, Gerard, in our other studio?
I miss you, Michael.
It's a bit weird because there's a bit of a time delay when you're talking, of course, going live at the same time as well. But Gerard, your 60-second questions that you ask, or get them to answer in 60 seconds, that was the concept behind our 1 Minute Millionaire as well. We said, let's do 1 Minute Millionaire where we give a millionaire strategy in 60 seconds.
So what we've done is on Facebook, every day we posted a video where we discuss the strategy within 60 seconds. It's not that you will become a millionaire in 60 seconds. Michael.
Yeah, it's just I'll listen to you in the delay. Yeah, it is basically, that's the whole concept. Let's give strategy in 60 seconds so you can operate and get it done really, really fast. And then we had a lot of people then come to us and say, look, they're really good strategies, but do you have some way of actually implementation? You guide people in how to implement these. And we came up with our 90-day millionaire program. It goes a little bit longer than 90 days, but basically 90 days because it tends to all be about you, doesn't it? If you can change you can change everything.
It's all about you, the person. When people say, I will need mentorship in my business, you are the business. So you can't only work only on the business. You need to look at yourself. And the whole idea of the 90-day program is to work on heart, mind, body, and soul. That's your internal pillars, because you have to lay the foundation first that you are 100% in the right mindset to go forward.
Yeah, and then we look at the external pillars, we look at sales, we look at marketing. We've got a great sales section in there. We look at sales slightly different than other people, and it's all about how to attract those customers to you. Now, we were discussing it, and I think it's $47 a month or so. It's about the price of a cup of coffee a day to do the program. So we priced it right down. But you came up with the concept the other day because of COVID-19. You said, look, let's give a bit of a discount here.
So what we'll do is at the bottom, we'll give you a voucher code where you get 50% off the $47 a month.
Fantastic. So there's some free training. So if it sounds like something you'd like to have a look at, have a look. There's some free content on there anyway, just so you can see that it's right for you. And if it is right for you, why don't you join us, take advantage of that coupon and join for half price. That's part of our online business as well as our face-to-face. And I caught up with Peter McClernand, Gerard, because he runs office furniture and things like that for businesses, and it's a very physical product, but he's managed to put it online.
We have seen so many people use initiative where they think they could never sell online, doing it online at the moment. Great initiative comes actually from having this pandemic.
Well, Peter, it's always interesting talking to you, and we've talked a few times, and even though you have physical products and here with a home base for business, physical place someone can actually come to, you haven't just relied on that. You've actually gone to online as well. I believe you've been doing this for a number of years anyway.
Yeah, we're probably one of the pioneers in WA with online shopping and having an online store. So probably we have to go back 20 years or so, or longer, you know. And things have changed quite a bit since then. It's become a much more competitive space, much more expensive to advertise and so on, you know. But yeah, we've got currently probably, I think it's about 7 online stores. Some of them specialise in certain products, some of them are national, and some of them are WA based only. You know.
I was going to say, to explain that to people, what is the reason that McClernand's has got a few online stores?
Right. Probably 5 of those specialise, so one specialises in safes, another one in chairs and tables, another one in office furniture, another one in shelving and racking and so on. So they're specialised sites.
Why is that important, do you think?
Well, those sites can be set up so that the keywords are very prominent, you know, because you're only dealing with a single product. So they generally receive a higher generic ranking on Google, you know, and you can set them up that way. With a site that covers all of our products, we've got to do that by page. So we can have that kind of SEO work done on our shelving page, but not on the whole site, you know. So for example, shelving warehouse, the major search term is in the name of the website, you know. We can't do that with a site that has all of our products in it. So yeah, so there's, you know, specialised sites and there's sites that cover all of our products. What we will do is we're organising our major site now so that those minor sites, we can drop them off, but the traffic that they have can be directed directly from the search for that site into our major, into the page, the relevant page on our major site. So that's all happening now, you know.
What do you think are the challenges for people trying to get online, and do you think most businesses should get an online shopping presence?
I don't think you can, you know, survive without an online store. Now, people don't always buy online, but they go online to shop and then they might come and see you. So it's not just the orders that you receive online, you know, it's the business that it generates, people shopping and then coming physically to your store. I do believe personally that you do need to have a presence, particularly in a state, for example. I don't think you need to have, like in my type of business anyway, I don't need to have 10 stores in each state, but one big store that covers all of our products is important because you have a local presence, even though you're online. People, as I said, they like to shop online, but they also like to know that you're local. So if there's any problems or servicing, or if they want to come and have a look at a product or sit in a chair and try it out, there's somewhere they can go to do that, you know. So what we're setting up is national websites followed up by a physical presence in every state. And that's what we embarked on just before this virus hit us. So that's come to a little bit of a stop temporarily, but we see opportunities in that as well, because it may well be that it would be cheaper to buy an existing business like ours in other states than to set a new one up, you know, and to purchase customer databases and so on. Let's see what happens, you know.
And for someone who's trying to get their business online, what is your recommendation? What do you think 2 or 3 things they should consider or implement to get success in that area?
Okay. First one would be the SEO work, search engine optimization, because that's going to lead to cheaper advertising rates on the internet. and also build your generic customer base. I think also having an existing database of customers is important that you can market to and then bring to the store through direct marketing to the customers. It brings them to the store, which they either purchase through the store online or they come into the store and purchase. Ease of navigation through the site, so that it's simple. It's easy for someone to actually purchase. They go through the whole process and check out and purchase something. And then I think, like I said, the actual physical presence I think is important, because people, it's very difficult to build a trust factor from a distance. You can do it, but your sales are going to be limited because you don't have a local physical presence. So I think combination of both of those is good. Yeah.
Well, there we go. Some great inside tips there from Peter McLernon and Home-Based Business about going online. And look, it's even because we've got a few studios, and we've got switching gear and TV gear. Gerard, we've even upped and changed some of our styling to be able to get online. We've got the TV show anyway, but it's actually forced us to do things because of social distancing. You're in one studio, I'm in the other.
It's all about using initiative and be innovative. And you have to be different. And I think this is also a point of difference for us, is that we have the opportunity with the studios. Yes, it's more work, but we can still bring a show that works for everybody.
And I think that's one of the things, isn't it? It's being able to look at your business and see what resources you've got, and see how you could perhaps reallocate and reframe that business to attract a different clientele. We can keep going through this crisis that we're in right now. And I caught up with Alex from the Mentoring Effect to talk about mentoring, Gerard.
If you don't have a mentor, you're going to struggle, especially in these times, because when you're not in a mindset in these disasters and pandemics, you're not in a mindset to get new ideas. But when you have a mentor and you have somebody to just bounce ideas off, that is when great ideas are born.
Hi, welcome back. Well, I'm with Alex from the Mentoring Effect. We're going through some of the questions that came in. One that struck me that we're smiling about was, people said, how did you come up with this name, the Mentoring Effect, and what is a mentor? How did you get into mentoring?
Well, I was having a few different teams in my businesses before, and I started 3 businesses by myself, and basically I always wish to have someone who will help me and who will take my hand and will tell me like, oh, you need to do this and you need to do that, and this is what you need, to be successful. It will be great. And I really never have that. I really try to ask friends. They had, some businesses, and I asked a million people to really help me or give me advice. And it was really hard because there was no that kind of industry before. It was just a few people, writing books. That means you were reading a lot of books, and you try to find everything online. Now it's at least like we have a lot of coaches and mentors, what is great, and it's always someone there that can help you. That means that was probably the first thing that we try to tell people. The mentoring effect is just, it's nothing else, just somebody will actually take your hand and show you what to do, and you can be quicker.
That is a really important point you make there, because I've seen a few people's style is just to ask questions, and even Tony Robbins will do it. Tony, and he's super famous and as a coach, but his style is to say, look, I know you don't know, but if you did know, what would be your answer? And he uses that type of rhetorical questioning. Mentoring is basically your mentor, like yourself, is using your business experience to only use questions to find out where they're at, and then say, well, in this situation, these are types. You're actually giving them suggestions, practical ideas and tools and strategies they can actually implement.
Yes, it's absolutely true. That's basically because I started to study coaching for a few years, and I'm still in school. I'm still studying because I like to study, and that's exactly the rule. Like, you can't give advice as a coach.
No.
And I was thinking, but I want to help people. I don't want to just ask them questions, because some people, they say that you have everything inside, you have it in you, but sometimes you don't. And that's because I know I didn't have inside me a lot of things because I didn't try it, Yes. How the feeling to being millionaire, You can't have it inside you because you haven't been a millionaire. You didn't reach that. That means you want to learn from someone who already reached that. Correct. And that's why we decided with my colleagues, like, look, let's do more mentoring because we want to actually help people. We don't want to just ask questions. And that was by that.
I know you mentioned millionaires, quite a few that I speak to that are mentors, as well as a couple on this show, and they're pretty direct. They'll assess a situation and go, based on that, you need to do this, and they will actually go, you need to do this and this and this, and
yes.
There's no leaving it up to you. They're very direct. You know what they say, and you kind of go, oh, okay, boss.
Yeah, that's probably another difference. You're absolutely right. That's the thing. We measure things, we see things, we analyze things. Because I spoke actually with my colleague, and she's working in HR, and she was like, oh, you really do diagnostic? I said, yes, I just don't ask questions. Even if we ask questions, we actually measure that. That means you will have your graphs and you will have your numbers. Yes. And she was like, oh, that's great. I said, it's just something that you need to know or you need to have before you start to do things with people and teaching them or coaching them or mentor them. You need to know where you're starting.
It's interesting because even like super billionaires like Warren Buffett even has a mentor himself.
Yeah.
And I suppose the question comes for your startup type businesses and the smaller type operations. Does mentoring work for them as well? Can they use that to help them in their business?
You mean small businesses?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was working with a few different people, and I always try to find someone with more experience or someone who achieved already results in my industry. And I think that's very important for any solo trader, anyone who has small business, because you want to talk to people that they have success and you want to know how they achieve that. That's probably most important, to take that steps and even model that, or implement it into your business.
It's like taking a shortcut.
Yes, exactly. That's what we like.
Get there quicker. For businesses, and maybe they're small, businesses, maybe they're sole traders, and they're going, I'm not quite sure what mentoring. What would you say to someone who's in that? Do I get a mentor? Do I not get a mentor? What would you say to them?
If you are not prepared, don't get it. Don't get mentor, don't get coach. If you're prepared to succeed, think about that and do your own research, I would say. Because there is a lot of people doing the same thing, and sometimes it's just a slightly different thing that, every coach has different niche, I would say, because we're really all very niched. I'd probably just try to find the right person for you.
Find the right person. Yeah. Wow. So if you're ready for success, get a mentor. Alex, it's been wonderful talking to you again. Alex from The Mentoring Effect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that was great. That was Alex talking about mentoring. We actually filmed that prior to social distancing, so don't ring up and say, you're sitting too close, because I know they will, Gerard. Gerard, we talk about marketing, and especially in a 90-day program, we put the discount coupon underneath, but marketing can also be free, and we managed to catch up with Colin James, who does a lot of workshops on Facebook and posting into groups.
Well, we had Colin in this week, and actually we've learned so much from him. And as he walked out the door, we actually started to implement immediately, and it changed the way we do our postings every day.
Yeah, so we took the camera to where he was in one of his events, and after we sat him down and shot this film. Hope you get a lot out of it. How are you, Colin?
I'm really, really well. It's nice to be out and about for 30 seconds.
Colin, one of the things that comes up on Facebook is all about groups, and you said, I've got a lot to talk about groups.
Well, I could talk about posting into groups all day, but we won't go there. It's very, very simple. Posting into your own personal profile, posting into your business page, and posting into your business groups that you run. When you consider that Facebook only puts your post into 1.8% of the people who follow your page. 1.8%. So if you've got 1,000 people who follow your page, that's 18 people who see your feed.
Here's a quick one, Colin. Don't mean to interrupt your flow, but I've been seeing people put up those postings. I've discovered this, and if you share this post, then you'll start seeing more of my posts.
Well, see, this is what they're saying is basically true. If people aren't interacting with your posts on your personal profile, your business page, you're in a business group, then they will stop seeing your posts altogether. Eventually, they won't see it in their feed at all. But when you consider it's only for 1,000 people following your page, 18 people will see it. So if nobody interacts with your posts, then that's going to only ever be 18 people. So when you consider that and you go, right, people will come and talk to me and say, I'm getting no reach. No one's seeing my stuff. What am I doing wrong? There's nothing wrong with the content. So then ask the question, how many times do you post onto your Facebook page, onto your personal profile, and into your business group a week? And the answer will be once. So 18 people get to see your post.
How often should you post into these things?
So your personal profile, we'll just think about it for a moment. If you want all 1,000 people to see it, if you post 8 times a day for 7 days a week, that's about 1,008 people who will see your post. That's
Wow.
a lot of posts.
And do the posts all have to be different?
Of course they do, otherwise people won't look at them. But you can put the same post 2 or 3 times a week. But just be consistent with your message. And on your personal profile, on your business page, be a little bit creative. Ask people silly questions, put polls up. Who's your favourite football team? Eagles or the Dockers? Out of all the football teams in Australia, if you had to get rid of one football team to save the competition, which one would you get rid of? Would it be Collingwood? Would it be Essendon? Would it be Brisbane? Simple little things like that. Which is your favourite Tin Tam biscuit?
So when you're posting into groups, now obviously you can have your own group and you've got other groups. Is it best to be posting like quotes or those polls or video? Is there some rules around interacting with groups that you don't own?
Well, let's talk about the groups that you don't own later. Right. But your own group, if you have a business, you should have a group which is run by your business page, so that when people post into that, it is also interacting with your business page. And the thing about having a group attached to your business page is it allows people to interact with you. And videos are king.
Right. So the takeaway from today's little session is if you've got a business and you've got a business page, which you should have on Facebook,
yep.
You're saying set up a group
yep.
under the business page.
Correct. So you can have a business page and you can have a group of the same name.
Well, there we go, Colin. And posting into Facebook groups are really good advice. That's free marketing. And I think that's so important right now. Gerard, taking advantage of some of these things that are already there.
And our philosophy is do not stop your marketing now. Now is the time to be out there, that people can see you. So when everything goes back to normal, I don't know what a new normal will look like, that people will remember you. And then also, thank you for your support during this crisis. So do not stop marketing.
Yeah, and it was interesting because we had Nitin in the studio, and where people try to pull back on marketing dollars when they shouldn't, they start getting a bit worried about talking to their accountant when they shouldn't, because accountants have got really good advice. And when we had Nitin in, he was actually talking about this, how accountants can help you as a business owner overcome some of these obstacles.
I always say you don't know what you don't know. And by speaking to the right people, it can save you so much money later on in running your business.
Hi, well, we're back with Nitin from the tax store in Osborne Park. How are you, Nitin?
Oh, hi, thanks, Michael.
Social distancing, we're in opposite studios at the moment. Yes. But I think at the moment, businesses are going through a challenging time. And I'm finding some of us saying they can't afford to go and talk to their accountant. They're getting a little bit nervy about the cash flow you've talked about. What are you saying to your clients right now?
Look, I think it's easier than ever to talk to your accountants and your consultants, I must say. I mean, for example, am doing Zoom meetings with my clients all the time. I've spoken to clients as far in Geraldton, even in regions. The clients who normally would have found it difficult to travel to my office because they were too busy. I'm having Zoom meetings with them all the time and giving them advice on cash flow and answering their questions. So it's easy to still talk to your consultants and accountants. And one of the things what I'm finding, Michael, is that it is helping us find new ways of connecting to the clients and talking. Obviously, social distancing is important, but it doesn't mean we do not remain connected. And there is technology available. I'm running meetings through Zoom very, very successfully. And one thing it has done for my own business, Michael, it has forced me to use Zoom, use video conferencing, and to use that technology which earlier always is kept on to the back burner because you could meet clients face to face. And I'm seeing slowly that my productivity is on the rise with that.
One thing I do like about you and your practice, Nitin, a lot of accountants at this stage are talking cut costs, do this, do that. But you're advising your clients now to look at new ways of selling. You're very passionate about this and saying this is something they need to really focus on.
Look, absolutely. We need to find new ways of doing things to respond to the new realities. Look, the last thing we want is to disconnect with the world and disconnect with our clients and disconnect with our friends. We don't need to. So, but there are new ways to connect with the clients, and we need to use that. I'm actually enjoying having meetings with my clients from my home, and look, it can be really fun to have a really professional meeting via video conferencing while being half dressed.
Nitin, just if someone was struggling now in business, I know there's a wide variety of them, what are your top 2 or 3 tips now for the business owner who may just be a bit stuck, a bit overwhelmed, and finding it hard to break through?
Look, Michael, this is definitely a stressful time for businesses, and because it has come on to everyone a little bit too suddenly, and everyone has to recalibrate themselves, and I can very much understand that the business owners can struggle through the phase. And what I would say is look at your cash flow, guys. Watch your cash flow. There is a government stimulus at hand. Use that if you qualify for that. There is a separate program we have done with some cash flow tips. Do that. Cut costs whereas you can, but rather cut wastage. You know, if you have to lay staff, be mindful that you probably will need them back again in 6 months' time. So do it a little bit carefully and find alternate ways of connecting to your clients and giving them advice.
Well, this has been an exciting show. Thanks, Nitin, for that. A bit different, being in 2 different studios. How are you going down there, Gerard?
Yeah, I'm glad this hour's over. It's too lonely up here.
Look, it's been a great show. You know, when Helia was in, before she went out, she actually read an old Persian poem, and I just thought how appropriate this was for today's crisis and the environment we're going through, Gerard.
It just puts such a different mindset to me after listening to that, and I'm so glad that we are putting this poem now at the end of the show.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really good. Look, if you want to contact any of our guests, they're very happy to answer questions and help you all the contact details below. And look, if you've been looking at 1 Minute Millionaire and look at those strategies, then going, well, how do I get this implemented into my business? Don't forget, we've got that special 50% discount coupon sitting below for you. Go and look at the free content, and then you'll be able to decide whether it's right for you or not. And if it is right for you, hey, click on and take advantage of the discount. But Gerard, we're going out of the show with Helia's Persian poem this week, something a little bit different.
All of you, be safe.
So at the end of the show, I would like to finish our show with a great poem from a Persian poet from 13th century. His name was Sadi. I believe this is the poem that can relate to these days because we all are humans and we all are connected. And I'm so grateful that this is a pandemic and it's not an endemic. Imagine if this was just happening to a culture or to a group of people or race, how horrible this would have been. But now I see this pandemic actually is an awakening time for humans to understand that no matter how much rich you are or how much money or education you have, we all are vulnerable when it comes to something like this. And this is the time that everybody is out there to help each other. Even the countries are helping each other. From my country's point of view, I can see that they are stuck at home. They are truly stuck because of the corruption in the government and all the other things that's happening back there. They haven't even come out of home and they don't even know what's going on, and there is not many things available to them. But I would like to point out that we all are humans, and no matter what, I'm sure we can survive this, and we can show the world that not only we survive, we will thrive after this. And it's only the smart one and the wise people will find this time to educate themselves, learn ways to, get the skills that makes you recession-proof or completely financially free, that no matter what's going to happen to you. And now the poem. It says, the sons of Adam are limbs of each other, having been created of one essence. When the calamity of time affects one limb, the other limbs cannot remain at rest. If you have no sympathy for the troubles of others, you are unworthy to be called the name of human. So thanks again for watching today. We really appreciate your time, and we would love to hear from you, your opinion. Please put your comments here, and if you believe this episode can help someone who is at the moment experiencing anxiety or fear, please gently tag them on this episode or send a link to them. You never know, maybe with this small act you make someone's life better and make their day better. So until next episode, have a happy, healthy, wealthy life.